Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to decode exactly how AI algorithms have completely evolved to parse, understand, and recommend your video content. If you've ever felt like the rules of discovery are just constantly changing beneath your feet, well, you're definitely in the right place.
So let's just jump right in by addressing this massive frustration I know creators are feeling right now. You know the drill, right? You do everything by the book, you have perfect SEO, you optimize your tags, you craft the absolute perfect title, but you still suffer from low views. It's incredibly frustrating. So, are keywords officially dead? Well, the short answer is no, but their role has fundamentally changed. See, we're completely moving away from this era of simply matching text tags to a brand new reality where AI actually comprehends the underlying subject of your content. Let's say you make a piece of content about why 4K is overrated. An older algorithm, it might only look for the exact phrase 4K. But the new AI, it actually understands that your content is fundamentally about camera gear, resolution, and content creation, even if you literally never say the word camera out loud. It's a massive shift from matching text strings to understanding true meaning.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 5 key areas. First, moving beyond just keywords. Second, the big semantic discovery shift. Third, how AI actually understands video content. Fourth, the power of structure. And finally, the new rules for creators. All right, part 1, beyond just keywords and the illusion of traditional SEO. Let's look at why stuffing descriptions with repetitive phrases just isn't the silver bullet it used to be. For years, the golden rule was basically just write better titles and add more tags. But honestly, are you still relying way too heavily on your tags? The absolutely crucial point today is that metadata is no longer the boss. It's really just one signal among a whole bunch of others. While titles and descriptions absolutely still matter, for sure, your actual ability to teach clearly and structure your ideas logically is becoming a search ranking factor in its own right. The AI is looking for real substance, not just a list of optimized words. Which brings us to part 2, the semantic discovery shift, or organizing by meaning. This is a massive, massive paradigm shift in the algorithm. We call this shift semantic discovery. It's basically the process where AI systems organize, retrieve, and recommend content based on its deep meaning. Just imagine 2 creators making content about productivity apps. One creator stuffs keywords into their description and repeats the phrase over and over without providing any real structural value. The other creator carefully explains the subject with super clear language, shows the apps working contextually, and provides an accurate, readable transcript. As AI gets smarter, that second creator is going to consistently beat the first one. Clarity wins over keyword stuffing every single time. Part 3. How AI understands video content. Let's lift the hood and look at the actual technology researchers are deploying right now. We absolutely have to talk about semantic IDs. These are compact AI-derived codes generated from your actual content. And I don't just mean what you typed in the description box, but the actual visual frames, the audio, the transcript, and the underlying structure. This means the system can now develop this rich, multidimensional understanding of what you're actually communicating. Historically, algorithms had to rely heavily on accumulated viewing behavior, but with semantic IDs, the AI doesn't need to wait for thousands of user views to figure out exactly what your content is about. It's a real game changer. Think about how this actually flows in practice. Your visual frames, your audio, the transcripts, the structure, they all get fed directly into the AI's analysis. And that analysis generates this really compact representation of your content, which is then used for recommendations. Crucially, though, your creator metadata, the titles, tags, and descriptions, is a complementary input. It's evaluated right alongside the AI's understanding, not instead of it. Moving on to part 4, the power of structure and making your content machine readable. Since the AI is effectively watching and reading your content, let's explore how you can feed it the exact right signals. So first up, let's talk about transcripts. Independent industry analysis has found that auto-generated captions carry a meaningfully higher error rate than human-reviewed ones, and this can actively hurt the AI's ability to extract specific claims from your content. Every single step downstream depends on an accurate transcript. Chapters also matter incredibly because they break your content into specific, nameable parts. Descriptions provide text-based confirmation, and consistency means using the exact same terminology across your title, your spoken words, and your chapters. Make it as easy as possible for the machine to read. Let's look at a real-world example of this in action. We've all seen auto captions hilariously misunderstand us, right? But for a small channel like Home Iron Kitchen, it was actively hurting their reach. They had under 10,000 subscribers and a pretty limited watch history.
and they were struggling simply because the auto captions kept mishearing their crucial core topic, the word seasoning, as seasonings, or just dropping it entirely. By simply taking the time to upload accurate scripts and correcting those older auto captions, the AI could finally read their core terminology. And as a result, newer viewers searching for specific cast iron seasoning problems began finding their older content, completely despite the channel's limited history.
Here's another really fascinating example from Budget Bench Reviews. They had a totally straightforward buying guide for a tripod, but they used a misleading clickbait thumbnail and a title that said, "You won't believe what happened." The metadata completely oversold the content. When the creator actually rewrote the title to name the actual outcome and redesigned the thumbnail to show the product clearly, average view duration dramatically improved. Why? Well, because the AI and the viewers could finally align the promise of the metadata with the actual delivery of the content. Honesty and structure really does pay off.
All right, our final section, Part 5, the new rules for creators and adapting to this whole paradigm. With the technical foundation laid, let's establish the new baseline rules moving forward.
So to really succeed here, you've got to balance 4 distinct layers. Layer 1 is the scan layer. That's your titles and descriptions that catch human attention and communicate intent. Layer 2 is the glance layer, your thumbnails. Layer 3 is the depth layer, your actual internal pacing and retention structure. And finally, Layer 4 is the machine-readable layer, your transcripts and chapters. You literally cannot just optimize one layer, like your thumbnails, and ignore all the rest. What earns human attention at a glance absolutely must be backed up by clear, machine-readable substance.
As proofs of this totally new era, check out a sourdough baking channel called Rise and Fold. The creator used to judge everything by view count, thinking a modest view troubleshooting video was just a weak performer. But when they started doing citation spot checks, they found this exact video was consistently appearing in AI overview citations. A lower view, well-structured video can absolutely be cited as a source over a higher view video that lacks structural clarity. This means your older, lower view but well-structured content, it can become a massive asset as a citation. Structural legibility is now rewarded completely independently of sheer audience size.
I want to leave you with a final, kind of provocative thought to wrap up today's explainer. In a world where AI is essentially watching and reading right alongside your audience, we have to completely rethink our approach. Ask yourself this when you look at your next project. Are you just optimizing for the click with tags and metadata, or are you designing for true structural comprehension? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.